What is up, YouTube? I am DaVinci, leader of the Renaissance Crew, and you are about to watch DaVinci Reacts. I'm about to get back into a comedian that I haven't checked out in a minute that I should have gone back to a long time ago, and that is George Carlin. So, I've had a lot of people comment that George Carlin is one of the wisest comedians of all time, and what better use for a person that is supposed to be wise than to have them run for president. Now, that doesn't mean that the person that runs for president is always wise, but if you're going to have a candidate, you would want the ones that are the smartest, the brightest, have the best ideas, usually know what the fuck they're talking about, things like that. So if anybody out there had any desires of seeing George Carlin become president one day, I know that's not going to happen now, but if you ever had any intentions or any belief that he would make a good president, make some noise. No, I can't hear you. Make some noise. No, I really can't hear you because I'm looking at a camera right now. But here's a video that George Carlin he made that would give you a taste of what he would do as president. This video is called Balancing the Budget because apparently balancing the budget is a giant issue for everybody except for when it comes to funding things, in which case they could say damn with the budget. But whatever. Here goes George Carlin's ideas of how to balance the budget. Oh yeah, one more thing. If this video is chopped up, then just know that I did upload it entirely, but it got blocked, so I had to go send it back to the draft board and make some cuts. But anyway, let's go and check this out.
Listen.
And if it's a DaVinci Watch video, that means there was nothing I could do about it.
I got a lot of good ideas. Balance the stupid fucking budget. Here's another idea. I'm going to save you a whole lot of money on prisons, but at the same time, we are still going to remove from society many of our more annoying citizens. 4 groups are going away permanently.
Here he goes,
First
killing people
group,
off again.
Violent criminals. Here's what you do with these Emmy Award winners. You take the entire state of Kansas. You move everybody out. You give them a couple of $100 for their inconvenience, you know. Gotta be
FEMA.
fair. And then you move them out, you put a big 10-story electric fence around Kansas, and Kansas becomes a permanent prison farm for violent criminals. No parole, no police, no supplies. The only thing you give them is lethal weapons and live ammunition so they can communicate in a meaningful way.
It'll be Mad Max.
Then
completely.
you put the whole thing on cable TV. The Violence Network, VNN. And for a corporate sponsor, you get one of those companies that loves to smear its logo feces all over the landscape. Budweiser will jump at this shit in half a minute. All right, next group, sex criminals. Completely incurable, you gotta lock them up. You could outlaw religion and most of these sex crimes would disappear in a couple of generations. But we don't have time for rational solutions. Much easier to fence off another rectangular state. Rectangular states are cheaper to fence, saves the taxpayers money, you know?
True.
This time, Wyoming. But only for true sex offenders. We're not going to bother consenting adults who like to dress up in leather Boy Scout uniforms and smash each other in the head with ball-peen hammers while they take turns blowing their cat.
Wow.
There's certainly nothing wrong with that. It's a victimless hobby. And think of how good the cat must feel. No, we're only going to lock up rapists and molesters. Those hopeless romantics who are so full of love they can't help getting a little of it on you. Usually on your leg. You take all these heavy-breathing fun seekers and you stick them in Wyoming. And you let them suck, fuck, and fondle. You let them blow, chew, sniff, lick, whip, gobble, and cornhole each other until their testicles are whistling, "Oh, come all ye faithful."
Damn.
Then
I thought that wire was the curtain.
Turn on the cameras and you got the Sperm Channel. And don't forget our corporate sponsor. We're going to let Budweiser put little logo patches on the rapist pants right here. This pud's for you. All right, next group, drug addicts and alcoholics. Not all of them, don't get nervous. Just the ones who are making life difficult for at least one other person. And we're not going to bother first offenders. People deserve a chance to clean up. Everyone will get 12 chances to clean up. Okay, all right. 15. That's fine, and that's it. If you can't make it in 15 tries, off you go to Colorado. A perfect place for staying loaded.
He's turning them into literal flyover states.
All of the illegal drugs confiscated in the United States that the police and DEA don't keep for their own personal use will be airdropped into Colorado. And we're going to turn the Coors Brewery over to the beer-drinking assholes, and everyone can stay wasted, wired, stoned, bombed, hammered, smashed, and shit-faced round the clock on another new cable channel, Shit-Face Central. This is the real Rocky Mountain High. Okay, I've saved my favorite group
that was
for
a drug
last.
user.
The maniacs and crazy people. Yeah. The ones who live out where the buses don't run. And I distinguish between maniacs and crazy people. A maniac will beat 9 people to death with a steel dildo. A crazy person will beat 9 people to death with a steel dildo, but he'll be wearing a Bugs Bunny suit at the time. So you can't put them all away.
Reminds me of angry video game
you gotta keep
nerd.
some of them around just for the entertainment. Like a guy who tells you the King of Sweden is using his penis as a radio transmitter to send anti-Semitic lesbian meatloaf recipes to Soupy Sales and Marvin Hamlish. A guy like that,
How is a recipe anti-Semitic and what do you say, feminist? What's that mean? Like it's shaped like a penis with a knife in it, and it's not kosher.
I want to give him his own radio show. No, the Maniac Farm will be reserved strictly for hopeless cases, like a guy who gets a big tattoo on his chest of Liza Minnelli taking a shit. You know? And he tells you if he wiggles a certain way, it looks like she's wiping her ass, you know? A guy like that, you want to get him into custody as quickly as possible. Now, for the Maniac Farm, I think there's no question we got to go with Utah. Utah, easy to fence.
Somebody said
easy
Delaware.
To fence, right next
Delaware's
to
too
Wyoming
small.
and Colorado, and Colorado
This
is
is
right
why you're
next
taking
to
your ass
Kansas,
to Utah.
And that means all 4 groups of our most amusing citizens are now in one place, except for the big fences. And I think I have another one of my really good ideas for cable TV. Gates. Small sliding gates in the fences. Think of what you've got here. Think of what you've got. Predators, degenerates, crackheads, and fruitcakes. 900 miles of fence separating them. Every 50 miles, you put a small sliding gate. But the gates are only 10 inches wide, and they're only open once a month for 7 seconds. And you know something? Fuck cable. This shit has got to be on pay-per-view.
Or some streaming network nowadays.
If those gates are only open 7 seconds a month, you are going to have some mighty interesting people pushing and shoving to be first online. Deeply disturbed, armed, cranky lunatics on drugs. You know the ones. A lot of tattoos, a lot of teeth broken off at the gum line. The true face of America. And every time you open the gates, a few of the more aggressive ones are going to get through. The creme de la creme. The alphas. They're going to get through, they're going to find each other, and they're going to crossbreed. And pretty soon you have a melting pot. Child killers, corpse fuckers, drug zombies, and full-blown wackaloons. Wandering the landscape in search of truth and fun. Just like now. Everyone will have guns, everyone will have drugs, and no one will be in charge. Just like now. But at least we'll have a balanced budget.
If anything, we'll have a surplus because all these people subscribing to the streaming networks that these people are going to be a part of. It's going to draw a lot of money. But, yeah, I was actually thinking, like, okay, is he going to put the women with the men? Because you do have one section dedicated to like, sex offenders and stuff. You put the sex offender women with the sex offender men, and it's going to be all crazy. And then you put violent people, and then you crossbreed them. And I know that's not how breeding works. Like, they're not going to, like, a sex offender and a violent person isn't going to get together and make a violent sex offending child. But it's going to be crazy. Only thing is, the population will grow if there's men and women in those areas. The population to get too high, they'll start. It'll turn America into The Walking Dead, except instead of zombies, it'll be fucking convicts and drug addicts and stuff like that. Of course, I know it's a joke. I was just thinking out loud, pretty much. But yeah, George Carlin, like I said, he's hilarious. He comes up with all types of stories and scenarios and things like that, and he always has a fun way of doing it. For those that don't know anything about some of the fun ways he has of fixing things, just go watch his other video, People That Ought to Be Killed. That should give you an idea of how his impressions of fixing society works. But yeah, I do have a reaction to it. You can watch the original video as well. It's in the link in that description box. And in this description box, you can go and check out the link for this video. So if this video does happen to be chopped up or edited in some way, then you can go to the link in the description box and you can watch the entire video without me interrupting or pausing or stopping or anything like that. You can watch it in its entirety and be able to enjoy it. So that's pretty much it. And yes, I have spoken to enough people and they have told me that I am worthy to react to George Carlin. So for those that say I'm not, you can go stick it. But anyway, that's this video. If you enjoyed it, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, and share. I'm going to go ahead and move on to something else. But until then, hopefully I will see you there. I am DaVinci, and you have just been a little bit more enlightened. So I'm going to give you the deuces, and I'll see you around. Deuces.